Hello, guys. Okay, so this is the second part for today. So I finished another part of the book, and so the book is like almost finished. Like I get like so it's like so small. Like I think making a zine is like so cool because it's so small. Like it's really small. So one thing that happened with Idea 8 is that it's really about the identity iceberg. And I was just checking online to see if this person still had it on there. It's like it was like an ADL identity iceberg that you could do, and it's awesome. And I guess maybe they might be trying to sell it, but I mean, for education purposes, that's all this was. This is just an educational book. So I guess the person took it offline. You see what I'm saying? So anytime I have something that somebody is just great, they'll just go. The stalkers will go through and make sure I don't get anything from it. So I had to actually put in something else, like um I had to put in something else because the link stopped working. And so I was like, what? I'm just gonna look it up on her. And it's called Identity Iceberg, but in mine I changed it to the Culture Iceberg because it was made by somebody else. So this 80, if you could find an ADL lesson, it was an ADL lesson, and it was so see, it came up on her. So it's just probably I think I should keep the link in there. Yeah, it just came back up on her because it's like this is just for the book. Like this is to help people. So I'll just put it back in there because I just found it again. So I was like, I checked it on both websites. So I guess it's blocked by the library. So that's it. It's like that's the best one. But the lesson I'm putting on her is also from I think Gary Webb, the person who created the iceberg. So either way, you'll do the identity cultural iceberg or the identity iceberg. And this is why this chapter is so important. Let me get to the chapter. It is putting it all together. So it is idea 8. So it's reclaim. Let me get this mouse. So, it hasn't come up yet. I got to put that in there. So it's like reclaim your whole racial self. To reclaim your whole racial self, we must dive into our own race, color, religion, sex, national origin, or where a person or family is from, disability or age. National origin concepts include individual attributes such as a person's birthplace, ethnicity, ancestry, culture, and language. So now that we have researched personality, body, and diet, we can now take a more in-depth look at a cultural iceberg. So then it's like you can look at the example on this page, 16, by Gary Weaver. And so he puts in like all these different things. And so this is stuff that people kind of get offended by because this is stuff that's like usually private and it's usually kept inside the home. This is usually kept between friends and family and different things like that. So that's why it's like the deep culture part of it. It's just not your business. And so it's like I told y'all that I had like somebody when they started stalking me and my son. I don't think they were trying to be mean, but I just hated like every year we have to tell them like a tradition that we have at our house, and it's like I don't mind telling them, but I didn't want to tell them everything. And so it's like the people actually got the information and then used it against us. Like, they use it to stalk us. And so it's like, that's the part of what is happening that is like just truly racist. Like they use this stuff to actually stalk me and my child. So that was it. And it's such a short chapter. Let me put this up here. So yeah, I guess it is there. It just wasn't showing up for me here. So and I'll put it back in the book because it's such a good lesson. I'm talking about this person will just be like all up in it, y'all. I'm just like, what the heck is going on? Let me show y'all what it looks like. It's so cute. It is right here. And so it's a mini lesson. And you just hit load mini lesson. And when it goes through, it'll show like a iceberg, and you'll be able to put in like all the stuff that you need is about your culture. It'll like ask you questions and you'll be able to create one. So I got a place on her too on, I think, what page was it? I think it's during idea 3. Is idea 3? Yep. Where like right here you can staple your iceberg. So you can look at an identity iceberg or a cultural iceberg and see that's it right there. Like you just hit begin and you begin your lesson. And it's like it's so good. It's so convenient. So I will put the link back in the book, but this is good stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is stuff that like is hard hitting and it's like everybody can do it. You might even do it with your children and y'all have a totally different culture. So don't go back and like, be like the comedians, well, my kids, they be doing this and it's like, but that's their culture. You know what I'm saying? The writer of this book, Sing, she put in a quote um from Chance the Rapper about how people in his generation think that racism doesn't exist. It's just not that racism doesn't exist. It's just that sometimes we just look at stuff and it's just like that's a person. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's got to the point where we just like, well, that's how people think. And so it's not that it's just like we don't think like it's not racism. It's just that's it. Like it's like that is how people think. If you meet a person, like listen, if I meet a person from Chicago, they will be offended by some stuff that we do in Texas. And it's not something in Texas that people are saying we used to or anything, but it's just the fact that if somebody tells me, well, for a long time I didn't know what a nigger was, and you know what I'm saying, I'm listening to them, or a Yankee or whatever they say, and you're just looking at them like they won't say the word nigger. I mean, for real. But they could say anything. You see what I'm saying? That's racist. It's like a microaggression. And then they might say, well, and then I just changed my mind about it. And it was because I had a granddaughter or a mixed grandchild. And I had a grandchild with him, like, this is my best friend. I just never thought. And I love the baby's father and everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when they start to see that they met a person like this, because sometimes their life is so white. How you going to be mad at them? And it's like, okay, right, that's racial healing. And so it's not that we saying that it doesn't exist. It does, but it exists in every culture, even within its own self. So that's why it's really a thing where it's like, okay, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Everybody is not perfect. And so if that person isn't like, well, now you can't get a raise. Or, I think her father should just be a janitor for the rest of their lives, and they actively seeking out to make you a janitor, then that's a problem. Because that's what people do to me. When it's black people, it's Hispanic people, and nobody is stopping them from doing it. And it's against my civil liberties. But if I did that to them, it would be a problem. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not understanding why you can't see that this is racism. So anyway, that's it. So it's like if you learn to focus on yourself instead of other people's business, then you'll have a better chance at life. That's it. It's like because y'all wasting people's time by doing that. So anyway, that's it. It's just I wanted you guys to see this idea 8. Reclaim your whole self. It's about you. It's about what you go through. It's about your idea of who you are. And like I said, your kids' racial identity could be totally different, or racial self could be totally different than yours because they're growing up in a different environment. Sometimes the environment they grow up in is better, and so they don't have to always see that stuff. And so then that should also help you understand where some white people come from. It's like, I'm not thinking about you. I haven't thought about you my whole life. Why are you saying I'm racist and I haven't thought about you my entire life? Like, I'm so offended by that. And that's why, because sometimes they don't have to come in contact with people of color. You understand? So it's almost like that's the same thing. Like in East St. Louis, some people out there, they never become racist either because they don't really come in contact with white people. And when they see them, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's the person. I saw a person like that on TV. And so that's it. It's like nobody, sometimes it's just overboard. Sometimes it's like we just want to move on with life. So that's it. Have a good day. Shante Brown, Sugar Talk on the Black Unicarns. Idea 8 from the Racial Healing Guide. Have a good day.